First, 3 minutes.
Assalamu alaikum. Today, my group is the affirmative, and we will be taking on the idea that gender roles should be broken, and we will be opposing the traditional side, which believes that gender roles should stay in place. Today, my teammates and I will be addressing the fact of vulnerability affecting men and women and how gender roles can limit that. And not only can it limit the psychological needs, but it can also limit potential in general. We're going to bring up history such as World War I, when women took on the workforce and they showed their leadership, and it even won them the right of suffrage in 1919. And maybe if gender roles are broken, it can be another breakthrough, but not only for women, also for men. And we're going to be talking about how there's always a little bit of strongness and strength and kind of masculinity in a woman, and a little bit of tenderness in a man, and how everyone needs that, kind of like the yin yang, where there's a black dot in the white and a white dot in the black to symbolize that. And my group will come up in more detail and take it from there. But I'm just here to introduce you guys, so I hope you enjoy us, and I hope you stay attentive and pay attention, and thank you.
I guess she introduced what she's going to do instead of presenting her argument.
Okay,
We'll start your time now.
Okay, I'll present an argument. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how women were so limited before World War I, and how they were always just in the house. Their main job was to bear and rear children, and you rarely ever saw anyone in the workforce unless they were out in the New West. But once all the men went to war and there was the Great Migration, not only were African Americans traveling north, but women were coming out of their houses. And this proved extremely significant. They were clerks in the workforce, they were taking over jobs, and they proved that they have potential that no one had seen before, no one had expected of them. So imagine if gender roles are going to be broken and women are doing things that people are like, girls can't do that, and men are doing things that show a new side of them. Imagine what we can see again the same way we did in 1919. 19th Amendment, 1919. Yes, I'm done.
No applause, please. Negative side. Yes? One of you has to come first. One of you. Whoever wants to go first. Your time is running out.
Well, throughout history, she had a good point about in the past, women did not come out, but that was because they couldn't do it. If men and women was able to do it, then they would have started from the beginning. But because of this, they started when the men wasn't there. They had no choice but to do it. They had to try, which is why it should be keep the old, because.
Don't give up.
Okay. So the women can't do the stuff because they needed the men most, but they were so limited in that past that they had to do it. They didn't do as well as the men did because there was a Great Depression and all that stuff caused because after World War II was the only reason why they finished with their Great Depression because of the guns and everything, not because of the women. Okay, and let's see what else. I think that's it.
Done? it is a tough topic to debate. So, especially some they don't seem to be using the
بتشتغل مصورات هنا؟
Can everybody stand, please? So my opponent said that women cannot do it. But as we see today, that Hillary Clinton is a political candidate and is running for president, and shows that the magnitude and the excellence that women have today in society and the ability they are able to achieve greatness. Also, you see that in colleges, there are numerous amounts of women in college who are able to further their education now than any other before. Also, you see women in workforces, you see women doing things, contributing to different families and organizations, and creating different things, whether it's for the Muslims, whether it's for non-Muslims. You see them branching out and creating a more diverse ability for society. Women are doing more than the men. Like if you see in Alama's Best, like the Syrian refugees, you think the men are going out there? I mean, there are men going out there, but who's really taking care of them? Who's really, bringing up those children who don't have fathers because, the war that's going on right now? It's the women. The women are there. The women are the backbone of the society. The women have always been the backbone for society. And there may be some generals where people believe that women can't achieve certain things because that's a stigma, that's a stereotype that's been placed upon it. That you can't achieve something because you're, a woman. But Harriet Tubman said, if they only knew that they were slaves, then I could free more. And Harriet Tubman was the main person in the Underground Railroad who went back multiple times to the slave plantations, back and forth, about from the north, back and forth from the south to the north, multiple times. There's men that were definitely successful and helped contribute, but I never heard of a man, mainly, who brought the slaves back from the south to the north multiple times. So he said that women are unable to do things and they should stick inside their place in their gender roles. Well, women have the ability to achieve just as much as men can achieve. They have the same parents. You can be a male or female. You have the same parents, the same biological genetic capability to achieve something. So if you want to achieve it, you can do it. Whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. If you're a woman, if you're a male, you can do it. Women have always been strong in the backbone. The first Muslims on the Prophet peace upon his time to become a Muslim was Khadija radiallahu anha. She was a woman. It wasn't a man. There were companions after her, like Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhu. But the women were the ones there before anything. So as you can see, that the women are there and they stand strong during all times of difficulty. And even the Prophet peace upon him said, that even Aisha anha was jealous sometimes because he talked about Khadija so much. So it shows that women play a very important role. And for societies and generations to really succeed and further and flourish, they need women to be there. Thank you.
No? Somebody else?
One thing that we forget about gender roles is that women traditionally take care of kids, which is actually important because women in today's society take paid leave and even quit their jobs to take care of their families to create a prospering society. So we have to remember that gender roles have created, for example, prehistoric societies have prospered off of gender roles to create what we have today. Like without gender roles before modern times, we wouldn't probably all be sitting here today like we are.
society, you're not supposed to cry. You're supposed to be big, macho, quote unquote, man of the household. But what if, like, without gender roles, it could bring out power of vulnerability? Yeah, and so without crying, like not expressing your feelings, it could lead to depression. You guys can doubt yourself. Like it just, I don't know. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so I thought I would talk about gender roles basically in the home, really. As we know, traditional gender roles, man is a provider, woman makes babies. I don't think there are any two ways around it. I mean, it's also obvious, but I would say that it'd be better for men and women to keep their traditional roles. I'm not saying that women shouldn't go out and work, but I'm also saying, though, that women and men should try to do things that they can't do. As in, you don't see men trying to give birth to babies. And you also don't see women normally join the military. So things like that. But not very often, it's kind of rare to think about it. Men have to apply for that, women don't, just saying. And,
No heckling, please.
so, basically all I'm trying to say is that I think that men and women should be completely restricted, but at least remember that traditional gender roles might be the best for them. I mean, some things can go wrong if you try to go too far, so. That's all I can say.
That is technology interfering with debate.
This is IUI, right? So we have to talk about Islamic rules. So Muslim women are judged more than Muslim men. They have to wear hijabs, right? Muslim men, you can't really classify them as Muslims. So we have to protect the women and the community. Like Abdul Malik said, women are the most important creatures on this planet. Or people or creatures, whatever else. Yeah. So. Beach talk yesterday, women are the strongest creatures in the world. Now, don't we always see men as the big strong creature? Why can't the strength of women be flourished alongside men? Totally my answer. I'd like to see you try.
So gender roles helped historic civilizations flourish and help population growth and prevent declining productivity. This is because women's jobs as caregivers and men's jobs as farmers helped with the lifespan and prosperity of historical societies. Men grew food for the women and children, and so they provided steady agriculture. And women provided a stable environment for the youth so that they would have a stable place to grow and that increased population. Thank you.
Okay, obviously not everybody took their time, their full time, allotted time. We'll allow each team to have a rebuttal. So if you have a rebuttal, somebody go on that side.
So, I'm gonna draw attention back to what I was saying about men not being able to have babies. And I want to emphasize the fact that this debate is gender roles, not gender swap. And, we're not talking about the fact that a man can't have a baby physically. We're talking about the fact that a man and a woman can switch roles, and a role is a proper or customary part or function. And it seems that when you're limited, when I as a woman am limited to being one thing, and as a man is limited to being another thing, that's very degrading. Because maybe I want to go out and make my own bread, and maybe he wants to be able to spend more time with his kids in the future, inshallah, and that should be able to switch. And the fact is that when you have these gender roles, there is a significant oppression there, and they can be abusive to someone's psychological thoughts, and very just degrading in general, and it's almost bigotry, I would say. And another point is that we were told that having women being the caretakers and men working in the fields, which obviously wasn't true because of the Industrial Revolution, they weren't always in the fields. But afterwards, we saw so many breakthroughs from women, such as Clara Barton, who started the Red Cross, and who has so many medical advances since then. And women in politics. And not only that, but the first patent to a woman was, the first patent to an African American was a woman. So we can see what women can do, and that's my report.
From the executive side.
Now, men can take care of children, but they have some, scientifically, they can't be as good as women. Women have more tenderness, they care for the children better than the men. Scientifically, it makes sense because of the hormones. The women have more tenderness and care for them than the men. The men is mostly more aggressive, muscular. That's why they go to war mostly in the past. And then throughout history, there's always been a share that men and the women takes care. The men goes and get the money, women goes, takes care of the children, make sure the house is amazing. That's how it's supposed to be. Yin Yang is not supposed to be about the men can switch places with the woman. No, it's supposed to be that they're supposed to work together properly. They cannot just do that. And religiously, in most all the books, the Quran always says that we have made women and men differently. So they have different roles. You can't just take the same roles as each other. In almost every single book, it said, why would they, our book of the guidance can't be wrong. It's impossible. This is the reason why that men and women should have specific roles. And I think I made my point.
So.
talked about gender roles and the importance of women being in the household and having certain things because that's what they've been allowed blessed them to do certain roles. But women have also played more than just the kitchen or the home or cleaning. They have a bigger impact. Rosa Parks, she sat on the bus in the civil rights movement and she inspired the Montgomery bus boycott. And she is the reason that Martin Luther King developed the Montgomery bus boycott, and they went out. And for a whole year, they didn't ride the bus. Why? Because this woman chose to not get up and to stand and to sit there and to allow herself to show that she will not be oppressed and she will not stand there in subjugation as people just run over her and as she's told that she doesn't have the right to do so. So women have played more than just, the household. They have helped in civil rights, in political incidents, and they have helped and they have been effective in those political incidents, and they have done certain things, and they have always been supportive. If you look at every president, what do they have? Every president has a first lady. So that shows that political candidates always need someone there to support them and to encourage them. Barack Obama couldn't be the president if he didn't have Michelle Obama, if he didn't have that support, if he didn't have that structure. How far would he be? Think about it. How far would the president be? How far would any president be if he did not have a female candidate with him? Thank you.
So I would like to refute the fact that Susan said that during World War I, the women helped the economy. Though that does have some truth to it, she fails to recognize that that when the Depression hit World War I, so using the example of women helping the economy doesn't work because the Dust Bowl and the food scarcity has proved that men at war and women at work doesn't help the economy. In fact, the child death rate skyrocketed after World War I. So the roles could be, maybe in a perfect society could be changed, but with this example, it doesn't work.
Give you one more chance. This is the last rebuttal.
So back to Islamically speaking, I remember just yesterday, and I know all of the judges were also at the beach talk, how Abdul Malik told us that women are so valued in Islam that they were freed from the barbaric practice of being buried in the ground, and Islam liberated them from the brutality of centuries ago. Speaking of centuries ago, look how far women have come. In America, in other countries, it's traveled all across the world. But now it seems that women are also being taken not up freedom in a freedom sense, but becoming more and more sexualized as we progress into the 21st century, and men are becoming more of that. Are there little kids here? You see more abusive acts happening to women through men, and I feel that. And I feel that if gender roles were broken, the idea of men being so strong and brute would be lessened, and women, the idea of sexualization would start to fade more. And I believe that is a great reason why gender roles should be broken.
Most of this team has talked about how women are strong. We're not talking about how women have strong throughout history. We're talking about the roles. We're not talking about, okay, she's able to sit on the bus when they're supposed to be for white people. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the roles, about how we should switch them, and not about how the grade group, okay? So make that clear. Also, if women were supposed to be so high class, how come Prophet Muhammad didn't say anything about it? Okay, true, a woman was supposed to be buried on the ground, but okay, Islam stopped that, but how come he didn't stop that, switching the roles? How come Islam didn't say women should have the same roles as men? They didn't. It did not, because it is wrong. Women should have roles, men are supposed to be roles. Allah made us differently for a reason. And yes, women have high roles, but as Wanda said, depression did make a huge difference in World War I. Huge difference. It took almost thousands of hundreds of years just to get World War I. Thanks to Kennedy, we were able to get World War I because of how much generosity he gave. Not because of the women or the men. It's because of generosity and the acts he made. So we should think of Kennedy instead of saying that, oh, it was because of the women and the men. And I'm done.
Thank you, everyone. Give them a big hand, please. I think they all did a great job, and we'll give the judges 2 minutes to come up with a decision as soon as they've been doing there. In the meantime, you can take a break, you go get a drink or something, come back, and I'll ask you for your opinion before we announce the judges.
Hey guys, we're gonna take a break, and then, like Amal said, we're gonna come back and the audience will speak. Just wanted a reminder that this group is a very dramatic extreme, so it's not there. This is the hardest one. The negative group is really hard because they have to sometimes say something that they don't really believe. Because I think some people in the audience were confused. This is debate. They just have to just be passionate about their part. They fake it till they make it. So consider that, and both groups did amazing. So.
But before we hear the judge's decision, I want to see the audience decision first. Okay. How many of you say that the affirmative side won the argument? This is silent. You don't raise your hand. Those who participated in the debate cannot raise their hands. Those who participated in the debate cannot raise their hands. We're asking for the audience. Please pay attention. How many say that the affirmative side won the debate? How many say the negative side won the debate? Negative. All right, thank you. Not everybody is bad, but those who are here seem to say that the affirmative side won the debate. Let's see what the judges say.
The affirmative team had 26 points. The negative team had 23. Winning team, the affirmative team.
Please, thank you.
The majority of the judges thought that the affirmative one. I actually thought that the negative one. But first, I guess the affirmative, they had really good arguments and they were very good speakers in general. But my problem with it was that they didn't exactly do what I thought that they should do, which was they just talked about like the status quo and like history. But the thing is, the topic was basically saying how like whether you could like keep or change gender roles or whatever. So they didn't really like do what they're supposed to do, and then so they kind of were just like going with what is happening now. And I feel like that wasn't really part of like what they were supposed to do. So that's why I went towards the negative. But otherwise, like the affirmative was, they were good speakers and they made good points. And like their first speech and their last speech were both really good, and they had some good responses. So that's why I would get
Thank you. Any more from the judges? Well, I think both team and the judges did an excellent job. They all deserve a big round of applause.